Okay, we're live. It's Friday. Weekend is here. November 8th. Guys, what I'm going to do, I'm trying to get you guys set up here. What I'm going to do, and this is going to be our new format, we're going to wait just a couple of minutes and then get started. This way we can get everybody joining right at 11 o'clock. So 11 o'clock, we'll be live each weekday. And we'll wait about 2-3 minutes maybe. So that if you want to ask a question right now, I got to get that question in. But I want to make it spiffy. I want to move, especially on a day like today, plan on going over all 13 NBA games tonight and doing a college rundown. So we'll give everybody a couple of minutes to get in. Then if you don't get in, you'll have to watch the replay. And I will post this on the X page when we are done. Good morning, Dom. How are you today? So you guys are more than welcome to make comments as I'm going on, but I will not be addressing them as I get started. Once I get started doing the rundown, I'm just going to go clean. This is what people are saying they wanted. Top of the morning, OG. Let's sharpen the knife. Knife is always sharp. Unfortunately, Portland didn't get there for us last night. We took 5.5. That game closed 4. We did add the total. We went over in the Baltimore-Cincy game. I gave you guys the post on that yesterday. They both teams had scored 41 points in their prior game. 6 of the Bengals' last 8 have gone over. And the Ravens' last 5 have gone over. Last 5 meetings have gone over. You've got Jackson and Burrow going into last night were top 2 rated quarterbacks, 1 and 2. They didn't do anything to hurt those ratings. 4 touchdowns apiece. So the game and I'm never an over guy. I mean, very rarely am I an over guy, but over was the right call yesterday. So we catch the over back on the track today. As of right now, I don't have a bet. For my Master Edge members, you can see I've got the old How to Beat the Bookie hat, initial name of our business. But the idiots, the simpletons, they're supposed to be the smartest people in the world, Silicon Valley, couldn't understand, kept asking me for my gambling license. I'm like, that's just the name. I'm not a bookie. It's the name. But you need a gambling license. Idiots. Anyway, so this is the old hat from How to Beat the Bookie. Bulls fell apart terribly in the fourth quarter. That's what happens to teams on a back-to-back. That's what we expected to happen to the Spurs with Portland out on the rest and San Antonio playing back-to-back. Bulls total letdown, as my man Dom says, in the fourth quarter. Minnesota put them away. With that said, split, but we had bigger units. Portland was a bigger game. Again, it's all about the right side, guys. I get guys asking your spreadsheets, wins, losses. Guys, I'm here fucking live every day. I do enough work, and I ain't got time for spreadsheets and shit. You don't think I know what I'm doing? Go somewhere else. There's a gazillion fakes you can follow every fucking day. What I do every day, I give you lines 2 days ahead of time, and the line moves in my direction. That's how I prove myself, not with any fucking made-up spreadsheets. Anyway, let's get right at it again. You guys are more than welcome to make comments, but once I get started, I will not answer anything until I'm done. Actually, we'll do the NBA. Good morning, Ginger. We'll do the NBA. I'll go back to a couple of questions, and I'm going to rip in right through college football weekend. So let's start right in, guys. As always, I mean, it's injuries. And last night I sent out a message to my Master Edge members about what they could expect today. So let's go down the card. Today, Atlanta, Detroit. What are we looking at? DeAndre Hunter, he's missed a bunch of games already for Atlanta. He's going to miss again today. Duran, the center for Detroit, he came out of the last game. That was a game against Charlotte. Beef stew. Stewart filled in from. He'll fill in for a game. He's doubtful. Duran, you're not going to see him today. In this matchup, Hawks have won the last 7 meetings, 4-3 against the spread. But you've been seeing this a lot lately if you're a Master Edge member or if you've been watching my posts. The Knicks had beat them a gazillion in a row. Philly beat them a gazillion. This is a different Detroit team. Excuse me, guys. A little bit of allergies today. This is a different Detroit team. This is a better team. They added some vets. They lose a tough game at Charlotte. But we didn't lose it. We took 2. They lose by 1. Miller throws a putback back in there. Maybe if Duran's in the game at the end of the game, he don't get that shot. With that being said, you got Detroit still 4th city, 6 days. Little tougher spot for them. No Duran. Atlanta's owned the series 7 straight. Just got to see if Atlanta's got everybody else besides DeAndre Hunter in. It would be Atlanta or nobody for me. Guys, when I say it's one team or nothing for me, sometimes it's nothing. So we'll see where the rest of the lineups are and where this line moves. Right now, the Pistons are a 1-point favorite. Again, I won't be answering any questions, guys, till the end. Pelicans at Orlando. Well, yeah, guess what? Big injuries, guys. So Zion comes back. He plays the last game. Not enough. Cleveland wipes them out. He played 29 minutes. So Zion, not 100%, obviously. Hawkins, he's going to miss. You're like, well, who's Hawkins? Well, Hawkins is giving them buckets while there's no DeJounte Murray, C.J. McCollum, Trey Murphy, Herbert Jones, and now Hawkins out also. Zion questionable. You could possibly have no team there. If that's it, this is a close your eyes. This is Orlando. Get right. Orlando's got to get right here. Banchero, they've been buried in the 3 games since Banchero's out. And they're also missing Wendell Carter. He's dealing with the plantar fasciitis that he's dealt with the last couple of years. So it's 2 of your starters out. But Orlando's just a different team at home. Not only that, they've beat the Pelicans 5 straight games, including both games last year. Again, is Zion in? We'll see if that line comes back down. Whether he's in or whether he's out, it's Orlando or nobody. Indiana, Charlotte. I had a circle around this game, guys. And why I had a circle around this game is because Indiana has the Knicks next. Knicks pummeled them a couple of games ago last week. So this would have been a little look-ahead spot. Indiana coming off a win off Orlando. Maybe a little look-ahead going to Charlotte, a team that they feel they should beat. But Charlotte's banged up again. So in the last game Charlotte played, Ball was questionable. He was a game-time decision. He did play a decent game. Miller, it was his second game back, but they lost Mikal Bridges. So Bridges is going to be out for Charlotte in this game. McConnell, questionable. McConnell, big part off that Pacer bench. Remember, that's what's great with the Pacers last year was their depth. Well, lost Weissman in the first game of the season. Lose Isaiah Jackson. Naismith is out. And now you got McConnell questionable. But again, this was Charlotte or nobody. A great spot for Charlotte. Charlotte was home. They won at the buzzer, like I said, beating Detroit, not beating us. We took 2 on that game. And you have Indiana coming in a possible look ahead. But with Bridges out, and I got to know Ball is in, and I got to get more points. But again, home team Hornets plus the points or nobody. Golden State Cleveland touched upon this game yesterday with my man Brandon. He's my Cleveland guy out there. So interesting series. The Cavs won both meetings last year. Prior to that, Golden State had won 16 in a row, covered the 7 prior to that also. Just a bad spot for Golden State. So Warriors are coming off that big win. It was our biggest bet of the year, our 4-unit bet over the Celtics. So they get paid back. They paid Celtics back for that 52-point beatdown they suffered in Boston last year. And who do they got next? They've got OKC next. So is this a little bit of a letdown? We'll see. Dre Green, questionable for Golden State. For Cavs, by the way, Cavs, all they are is undefeated. Swept Milwaukee Bucks in a home coming from behind in those games. And just, they didn't cover their last game. 9-0, straight up, 8-1 against the spread. Golden State playing good basketball. They haven't lost a road game, Golden State. Their only loss was at home to the Clippers. Does Golden State this is what we call a sandwich spot. They're coming off the Boston win. You got OKC next. Those are the 2 top teams in the NBA. Cleveland's right behind. Do they get up for this one? We'll see. Milwaukee Knicks. And this is all about Giannis. Giannis plays last night. Milwaukee, after an ugly first half, blows Utah out. So now they're back-to-back. Giannis sat out a couple of games ago. Does he play back-to-back today? If he plays back-to-back, obviously the line cannot be 7, and that's what the line is now. Giannis is in, we're on Milwaukee. He's not, I'm off this game. Knicks got to find their way. We talked about it. Cat cannot block me. I can score off Cat in the paint. So you get Giannis in there, and he's going to have a problem. Much better offensively than Knicks got. They got much worse defensively. So we'll be looking for Giannis. Phoenix, Dallas. This is a little rematch. Beginning of the season, October 26th. Dallas is in Phoenix. And they should have got Phoenix that day. Phoenix was playing shorthanded back-to-back. And Phoenix, they come away with a 12-point win. Dallas was without a couple of bigs. Lively and P.J. Washington. They both missed the last game. Didn't need them. They beat a beat-up Chicago Bull team. Chicago without Levine, man. They're just bad. But anyway, this Phoenix now, coming off that homestand, they played real good basketball. Dallas still not playing great ball. Again, 2-2 in their last 4 games. This number was a little higher to start, but with the 2 bigs out, has dropped down a little bit. So this would be, you'd call a little bit of a revenge game. So we'll see how that game shakes out for Dallas. At this number, I think this is pretty much the right number, 2.5 or 3, depending on your book. Brooklyn Nets go to the Celtics. So here's a spot. This is just Celtics or nobody. And why is it Celtics or nobody? They've beaten the Knicks 14 of the last 15 meetings, 10-2-3, 3 pushes, 10-2-3 in that time frame. And you got Boston should be a little salty coming off that L that they took from the Warriors, their first loss in Boston. Nets may be a little satisfied coming off a win against Memphis. They've had 3 days off. They play tomorrow also. Ben Simmons hasn't been playing back-to-back. Will he play today? Will he not? Will he sit tonight, play tomorrow? We'll see. He's not a game changer anymore anyway, but if you're thinking about betting the Nets, you'd like to have him in there. He's still something. He's not a game changer. When I'm talking game changers, I'm talking Jaylen Brown, who's going to be out for the Celtics tonight. He'll miss again. Even with that said, Boston coming off the L, Nets off the W. Now, Boston absolutely owns this team. They beat them twice last year in Boston by a combined 64 points. Boston and nobody, and I don't usually say that about a number like that. Not that I'm laying it, but it's Boston and nobody. I don't want the Nets going for me. Houston at OKC. Here's my one lean right now, and again, it's the chalk. I hate to be on the chalk, but they're forcing me. OKC had a letdown game I don't want to say they had a letdown game, but they did let down. Denver had the home revenge coming. OKC had basically owned Denver, had won 5 of the last 8 meetings in Denver, covering all 8, including the opening game this year where they beat Denver up pretty good. Looked like they had them again. Denver shorthanded without Jamal Murray, without Aaron Gordon. They come all the way back. This is why Jokic's the best NBA player. He is the best player. He's the MVP. He just gets it done. And Russell Westbrook, dust old Russell Westbrook off, and he gives you a game like back in the old days with OKC Thunder. So they get it done. Denver does. So OKC will be ready to be bouncing back tonight. Rockets keep getting better. I like what the Rockets do. That coach got them from day one last year, installed defense, went and got Brooks. He plays some defense for you, Dylan Brooks. Solid squad, but I got OKC. Their ratings on a different planet. They split 4 meetings last year. So you say Houston plays them tough. The last 5 times that the Thunder have beat the Rockets, each of the 5 has been by double digits. So I expect them to win, and I expect them to win by double digits. Right now, just not enough room. If this line was to go down a little bit lower, it would be, right now it's OKC and nobody. Not a bet yet. Still 8, a little high, but I could feel another double-digit beatdown coming. Washington, Memphis, injuries. Best player for Washington, Kyle Kuzma. He'll be out again. He's missed the last couple. Best player for Memphis, Ja Morant, he's out. Look, guys, this is the NBA. That's why I can give you all the information in the world at 11 a.m. We've got 8 hours before the first game tips off. There's so much could happen, and that's why everybody out there should be a member. I'm trying to be a salesman here. Again, I give you all the information. This is what I know. Like, again, if you're a Master Edge member, we sent out our information last night. That's what we knew last night. I guess it was 8 p.m. Okay. Now this is what we know at 11 a.m. But what are we going to know at 7 p.m. tonight? Again, things change, lines change, and that's what you need to become a member for, to have all that information. Back to the Washington-Memphis game. As I said, best player for each team is out. Washington's been off 3 days. Memphis coming off the rest 1 day. Beat the piss out of the Lakers at home, but Lakers were shorthanded. No AD, no Hachimura. Memphis Grizzlies have won the last 6 meetings in Memphis, covering 5 of the 6. Again, even without Ja Morant, this was Memphis or nobody. They hit this line earlier. Game opened at 5.5, up to 7 or 7.5 now, depending on your book. Now I think it's gone just a little too high. 6.5 to 7 was kind of my number. Little high now. Still no interest either way on that game. Miami, Denver. There's just 2 ways to look at this game. So the first way to look at this game is the Nuggets have beaten the Heat 12 of the last 13 meetings, 10-3 against the spread, and obviously that covers the NBA championship a couple of years back. They own Miami, 6-1 in Denver the last 7 meetings. But this is a Denver team, again, without Gordon. Still don't know about Jamal Murray yet today. And this is a team that's coming off a big win, a big revenge win over the Thunder. Heat coming off a tough loss at Phoenix. The spot, because of that, says the Heat. But can I bet the Heat, a team that's lost 12 of the last 13 times they faced Jokic and the Nuggets, even though they might be a little shorthanded? With Jamal Murray, and I've got absolutely no interest in them. Not that he's going to blow the game up. He wasn't playing great, and Westbrook has been playing pretty decent, but it gives them another body, another shooter, another potential scorer. Portland, Minnesota, 2 teams that will be back-to-back. They both played last night, opposite results. Portland let us down. That was our big bet of the day. Kind of fighting, and then they got a little beat up in the third quarter, just could not get under the number. Still shocked. When I re-rated the teams, I would still, knowing the result, I would still bet Portland again today. That being said, they're going to go to Portland where they don't win. Portland, last 7 trips, they've lost 6 of 7 at Minnesota. Mini 5-2 against the spread. Both games last year, T-Wolves win by both games at Mini. T-Wolves win by a combined 28 points. Back-to-backs, Mini, Conley, Gobert. Do they play on a back-to-back, especially against a team they feel they could handle? We'll wait to see for that. Portland, you expect all these young kids to be able to play in the back-to-back. So I'm getting joined by somebody here. This is my best handicapper right here. He does all the handicapping work for me, right? Do we love basketball?
Yeah.
Yes, we love basketball. My grandpa's got to do some work. You go play, and I'm going to play with you in a little bit, all right, pal? That's the joy of my life right there, guys. Anyway, let's get back to it. Clippers, Sacramento Kings, they split 4 meetings this year. Clippers just won 2 games at home. It was the first 2 games that they won in their new $2 billion building. But they beat Philly and San Antonio. And San Antonio is a team that they absolutely own. Sacramento, they were trailing. They had a rough go with Toronto, and they just absolutely buried them in the 4th. Sacramento's a solid team, man. Sabonis, like just under Jokic. He's a triple-double. He's a walking triple-double. You add DeRozan. You got Fox. You got Utica knock it down. Monk off the bench. Solid team out west. Don't sleep on them. Let's see what the Clippers could do here. I'm right around where the number is. Maybe it's a tinge high. Clippers have played real good ball on the road so far. See if they keep that going. And then we got Philly at the Lakers. Philly, I mean, they just cannot catch a break. So they start the season without PG, without Embiid. They're as ugly could get. PG comes back a couple of games. Embiid's getting ready to come back. He pushes a reporter. He gets suspended 3 games. Now they lose Maxey, and they lose it for at least a couple of weeks. Embiid will be coming back against the Knicks next week. That'll be their playoff revenge. But again, it'll be his first game. You're not going to have Maxey. Tonight's going to be really tough for Philly playing the Lakers. Lakers will get AD back. Remember, we bet Lakers at Memphis. We bet this game Tuesday, Election Day, ahead of time. Knowing AD played 39 minutes and was a beast the night before. But they held him out, but he will be back. We did come back and bet Memphis also on that money line to salvage some of that bet. But Philly at the Lakers, again, they split 2 games last year. The game that the Lakers won was the second game in the season. Prior to that, they had dropped 7 straight. But again, this isn't the Sixers. There's no Embiid. There's no Maxey on the court. So can PG's going to stay in L.A. Remember, they just lost to the Clippers, and the Clipper fans giving PG a little bit of a hard time. Still in the same town, not in the same building, but in the same town, in the same arena where he played for the Clippers last year. So that's the NBA card, guys. Again, as I said, I don't have an NBA bet yet. So many injuries, so many question marks. We'll be looking for stuff later on. I'll answer some questions now, and then we are going to look at the college. Don, what price do you put on that journal in front of you, John? My lines, this is it, guys. This is the Holy Grail right there. This tells you what the lines, this is the work. You know, I say it all the time. You got guys, they got an algorithm, they got nothing. They're a bunch of frauds. Back in school, I'm doing long division. You got to show your work. Teacher would rip up your paper if you didn't show. You can't just give it the answer. Obviously, you cheated, right? Here's my work. I show you guys my work. If you're a member, you see my ratings. You say, wow, John makes this game that. I'm going to show you that, and you'll get a better understanding for guys that aren't members when I go through the college football. You're going to see some games, the number's off, and then you're going to explain why the number's off to you. Sixers are falling knife down. It's like they got knifed. I mean, they just beat up. Brandon Nesbitt looks smarter than half the guys on IG. He will be, and thanks, Brandon. Kid's going to be sharp. He absolutely is. He's got good tutelage. I taught my son right, and he's passing it on. Guys, there's no more important thing that you can do than be a father. Okay, be a father. Be a father to your children. It's the most. Don't give a fuck. Success ain't what it's in your pocket. Okay, success is looking at your children and seeing that they became good people. So I can beat my chest with that. We love basketball and we love family, and that's what we do. Appreciate that. Jason, John's a beast with these sports. I appreciate that, Jason. John is an expert. Guys, I am the best line maker in the world. I don't say that lightly. I prove it here every day. I tell you where the lines are, and the lines go in my direction. Let's do one basketball game, then I'm going to get to the football. If you're a Mass Edge member, you know I ain't shading these lines. With Zion in the lineup, New Orleans Pelicans are at 10.0 on the road. That's their rating. With Banchero and Wendell Carter out, Orlando's 7.4 at home. That's a 7.4 difference. This game opened up Orlando 5 and is now Orlando 6, or even some spots 6.5. The line is only going in one way. Again, I'm not making a bet till I know exactly who's in or who's out. If Zion out, Magic to move. No question about it, my man. What's your rating for San Fran? Can't do the football, my man. Going to do college next. Ready? So again, you take my ratings, you take the road rating, you take the home rating, subtraction. I know everybody out there can do subtraction. There's your base number. Remember, guys, it's just the base number. And I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. I'm going to break this down for the college football. Again, like I say, guys, nobody sharper out there. Nobody. Not on Instagram or X. I'm talking about there's not a line maker out there. Anybody want to come on here and debate me? Tell me how you make your line. No problem. You're more than welcome on. Or I'll go on Instagram or whatever you want to go on. Russ.ill, Trevor Lawrence out. We knew that days ago, my man. We knew that days ago. As soon as that Viking line went up to 7. If you watched the live a couple of days ago, told you that Jacksonville went and signed Bethard, who used to play for them, off the Miami Dolphins practice list. That told you all you should have needed to know. Let's do this college football, guys, and then I'll open it up to more questions, okay? So I'm not going to answer your questions as we go along. Keep your questions for the end, and I'll hit you with them. So we got a couple of games. Again, remember, guys, I don't do all the conferences. ACC, Big 10, Big 12, SEC. I follow Notre Dame also because you have to. Those are the only conferences I follow. So if we've got Navy, South Florida tomorrow, I ain't got that game. Princeton, Dartmouth today, don't know who the quarterbacks are for either team. So I'm not an expert in those games, but here, these games I am. First game tonight, California, Wake Forest going at it. So my number says California is 9. California, I've got rated 10 points better than Wake Forest. In other words, Cal's road rating, Wake's home rating. 10-point difference. They're both coming off a bye. Why do I make it 9? I've got a West Coast team flying across country to play in North Carolina. That's where Wake Forest is. Wake coming off 2 road wins, their last couple of games at Stanford and at Connecticut. To me, this number should be a little higher. If it was under 7, you could think about Cal for a small bet. Cal absolutely crushed Oregon State last week, their old Pac-12 foe. Prior to that, they had lost 4 straight, but 2-2 against the spread. Wake's a terrible team. And I feel California should be a 9-point favorite. Next game tonight, Iowa, UCLA. You got to just give me a sec because they're out of order. The way I put my guys is all the ACC teams, all the Big 10, all the Big 12. So Iowa, UCLA. I've got Iowa rated 35.0 on the road. I've got UCLA rated 26.3 on the road. Again, I've got a team not as bad from the Midwest. Iowa going out to the West Coast to play at UCLA. UCLA's been playing better ball lately. Gathers the quarterback has gotten better since he's returned against Rutgers. So they've got 2 wins under their belt, their last 2 road games. UCLA has. Iowa has looked great at home. Their last 4 weeks, 3 wins, 1 loss. The 1 loss, an ugly loss. The 3 wins, all at home. The 1 loss, like I said, that was on the road. Iowa looked great again against Wisconsin. My number on this game, 7.7. And how do you get to 7.7? 35.0 minus 26.3. That's 8.7. But I got a Big 12 team, a real Big 12 team, going out to a new Big 12 team, but the Pac-12 and a Big 10 team. And instead of 8.7, I make it 7.7. This line open UCLA 5.5. It's now 6.5. Where'd the line go? It went to my number. For Saturday, and here's where we'll see some discrepancies in numbers, is a game like this. And that's why I want my guys to be watching. So if you see my ratings, you've got Florida. Florida really doing a good job. Hung in there, even after they lost quarterback Langway against Georgia last week. Now, Remember, earlier in the year, they lost Mertz. Florida was playing a rotational quarterback system. So Mertz out. Now they lose the other kid. They finished the game with a third-string quarterback. My rating on Florida, my road rating is 33.0. They have not ruled out Langaway yet. They got him as doubtful. I don't see the kid playing. Haven't ruled him out yet, though. So at 33, I've got Texas rated 48.5. So my Mass Edge members are seeing a 15.5 disparity. And the line is now up to 22.5. You know what that says? Langaway's not playing. With Langaway out, Florida's will be rated at 27.0. As I said, they'll have a redshirt freshman, their third stringer. And now the difference is 21.5. And that's where that line should be. So even at that, it's going a little over that number. But again, that's the difference. So for my Mass Edge members, know the injuries too. The rating's just a starting point. It's not official that Langaway's out. That's why I haven't re-rated Florida. West Virginia, Cincy. West Virginia still. Give me 1 sec, guys. Let's get this updated info. So West Virginia, and I do have Garrett Green, the quarterback, out in the ratings. And with him out in the ratings, they're 27.2 on the road. Cincy's 30.4 at home. That's a 3.2 difference. Both teams coming off a bye. West Virginia beat Cincy up at West Virginia last year, 42-21. Maybe a little revenge there. So the base number at 3.2, maybe a little revenge. Maybe it's a little higher. I can't get up to 4.5, 5. Maybe if you want to get to 4. So again, maybe a tinge over, but it's a tinge over because West Virginia quarterback Green, doubtful. Now we've already got him in the rating, but nobody wants to go with a secondary quarterback. Miami, Georgia Tech. Again, another quarterback question. And that's King for Georgia Tech. So I've got G Tech is rated 26.4 at home with King out. Miami rated 43.5 on the road. We're looking at a difference there of 17.1. Okay, so Miami 17.1 points better. Now you look at the line and say, wow, it's 11. We're all over Miami. If King is out, we'll be all over Miami. Shorten up that line a little bit. Georgia Tech is coming off a bye. So where the rating's 17.1, I'm already down to maybe 16 on that number. So now it's a question. King, the quarterback for G Tech, is he in? Now I bring the number down anymore. Now there's not enough room. If he's out, I'd like Miami. As I've talked about Miami, they're trying to get their quarterback that Heisman. So if you can get him some extra points at the end of the game, that's what they're trying to do. So I wouldn't be scared about laying the points in that one. But again, it all depends on the quarterback. So understand, for my Mass Edge members, those ratings are right on the number. But when you've got quarterbacks, guys, in college are bigger than the pros. In the pros, you usually got another pro there. The fall off is, look, you go say Dak Prescott's going to be out. Cooper Rush, of course he's not Dak, but it's not like he's some kid off the street. He's come in and he's played some NFL football before. You're going to go in the case of Florida to a third string redshirt freshman. There's a big fall off this. You said the WVQB is injured. I said the WVQB is doubtful. Garrett Green, he missed last week, doubtful again this week. So again, got to know the injuries. Syracuse, BC go at it. Okay, these are two teams that before most of you guys' time used to play in the old Big East, and now they play in the ACC. This number is right where I think it should be. I've got Syracuse 24.0 on the road. BC 26.2 at home. That's a 2.2 difference. BC's coming off a bye, so I give them a little edge on that one. But BC did win at Syracuse last year, 17-10. Syracuse not only won at BC the year before, but they've won the last 3 trips there. So right there with that game, no dog in that fight. Mini at Rutgers. Minnesota playing good football lately. They've won their last 4 straight. They've covered their last 5. Rutgers, opposite direction. They've dropped 4 straight, 0-3-1 against the spread. 2 years ago, Minnesota, Rutgers goes to Minnesota, gets their ass kicked, 31-0. 2 teams on different directions here. I've got Minnesota rated 31.0 on the road. I've got Rutgers rated 25.0 at home. It's a 6-point difference. Rutgers is coming off a bye, so give them a little edge for that. So I'm a little less than the 6 that the number says, and that's exactly what the number is, guys. 5.5 or 6, and that's what it opened. That's what it's at. Just trying to show you how on target these numbers are. And the only games that are off, they're off for a reason. Iowa State, Kansas. Iowa State coming off their first L to Texas Tech. This game, you got Kansas is coming off a bye week. They lost the week prior to that, but they gave K-State all they could handle. Now they'll face one of the other top teams in that Big 12. Iowa State, road rating, 35.6. Kansas, home rating, 32.0. 3.6 difference in points. Again, Kansas coming off the bye. Kansas did beat Iowa State the last 2 years, winning at Iowa State 28-21. So I'm going to cancel off that bye with the revenge that Iowa State's going to be coming with. Especially they're coming off that loss. They'll look to get back, again, right on the number. Duke, NC State. Duke's been hanging in there playing some tough ball. They just don't have the guns to go up against the Miami Floridas, the SMUs, although they fought SMU pretty tight. NC State playing better ball their last couple of weeks, so they're on a two-game winning streak. Remember, the proximity of Duke and NC State, they're right near each other. So that's why you gotta, the road ratings, that rating is a real good rating, but when it's gonna be, Cal going to Wake Forest, it's going to be a little different than NC State going to Wake Forest because they're right there again. So just follow that logic. But anyway, in this game, I've got NC State rated 24.5 at home. Duke rated 23.0 at home. That's a 1.5 point difference. Again, I've got NC State winning the last couple. Duke has lost 3 of their last 4, as I said, but 2-1-1 against the spread. They've been hanging in there tough. This game is at 3. I'm not quite at 3, but again, it would have to be at least over 3 for me to want to think about taking Duke. Georgia, Mississippi, probably, one of the best games, if not the best game of the week. 2 powerhouses in the SEC. You got a couple teams with losses already. So we can start talking elimination games here in the playoffs. Now, I've got Georgia rated 48.0 on the road. I've got Mississippi rated 46.5. Mississippi, a good team. Kiffin, good coach, offensive-minded. His quarterback leads the fucking country in passing. But this is Georgia. And all they've done, they're 7-1 straight up. Let's just say that. But only 1-6 against the spread. The one cover was that annihilation at Texas when they beat the pants off Texas. Arkansas coming off Mississippi coming off a big win at Arkansas. Not saying much, but they get the job done. Again, my numbers say Georgia should only be 1.5 points. 48 on the road to 46.5 Mississippi at home. But Georgia owns this matchup. They beat the pants off them 52-17 last year, and they've won 11 of the last 12 meetings. Do I want to just take 2.5 when I only make the game 1.5? No. Cannot do it. So that line right on the number. Michigan, Indiana. You want a stat? How about this stat? So Michigan beat Indiana last year 52-7. What a role reversal here. Okay, Michigan Indiana's won one meeting since 1987. Michigan's won 9 of the last 10. The one that they did win was in the COVID year. Okay, that's when they beat them. I see you, Brandon. Fade Michigan. Indiana is real good. Rourke, the quarterback, is real good. This NIL, I mean, what it's doing to college, teams could go from garbage one year to a contender the next year by buying the right player. I mean, get off the subject a little bit. This is not what college sports is supposed to be. That this is your pros. When you're getting paid, you're a pro. That's the actual definition of being a pro, getting paid to play. So I don't like this whole thing. It's going to flip-flop teams. So when I look at a trend, like Indiana's only beat Michigan once since 1987, do I now throw this out the window? So, yeah, it was a monster at James Madison, absolutely. And that's what's happening. You're getting these guys. They look good. They basically buy them, and now you buy yourself a team. Anyway, Michigan 30.0 on the road. Indiana 43.0 at home. That's a 13-point difference. So when you see the line, don't let your eyes fall out of your head. 14.5. I think it's a little high. But the reasoning is you've got a Michigan team that just cannot stay up with them offensively. How much can Indiana score? They've been playing great ball. Indiana, all they've done is go 9-0 and covered all 9. So again, I can't get to 14.5 where the number is now, but my number's on at 13. Not enough of a spread. I'd have to see like a plus 17 to want to be on Michigan in that one. Clemson v Tech. So v Tech. I've got rated 31.0 at home, but that's with quarterback Drones and running back Tootin out. Clemson 38.0 on the road. 7-point difference. That's with the quarterback out. He was a last-minute scratch last week against Syracuse, and that's why VTech goes down at Syracuse in overtime. Clemson's won the last 6 meetings, 5-1 against the spread, but they haven't met since 2020. So I give that less weight. Michigan and Indiana, they meet every year. You take some of the teams, they don't play each other every year now that the conferences are so big, 16, 17 teams. So anyway, Drones, the quarterback, Tootin, the running back, are they in? If they're in, I'm liking VTech as the home dog. Clemson's loss last week was more than a loss to Louisville. That basically knocks them out of any chance of winning the ACC. They're not playoff material. This could be a letdown game. VTech, if they got their guys, they're worth the point. So my number again, 7. 38 minus 31 is 7. If you look right now, that line is 6.5. That's with the running back and quarterback out. So this is as much for you guys as my members. I want you to understand how our lines are made. There's a line on every game, guys. Okay? This is how, if you don't do what I do, you're not a handicapper. You're a fucking fraud. And does anybody out there think that any of these kids do what the fuck I do or can do what I do? No, that's the answer. You don't have to answer that. Colorado T-Tech. And here's another game that my numbers say, hey, we should be all over T-Tech. And this is why, because I actually have T-Tech rated 1 point better at home than I have Colorado on the road. Caveat, Colorado coming off a bye. Texas Tech coming off a big win, upsetting Iowa State as a 13.5-point dog. Do I make it this much of a swing? No, I don't. It's still T-Tech and nobody. Okay, Morton, solid quarterback. This is a shootout. I'm not a totals guy, but this is a shootout. Can they stay within the number? This number has gone away from my number, so it's gone higher. So we'll keep an eye on T-Tech in this one. South Carolina, another game, guys. Again, there's no better handicapper in the world. My ratings are the best ratings in the world. This one got away from me on the overnight. I've got South Carolina rated 37.0 on the road. I've got Vandy rated 30.6 at home. That's a 6 6.4 difference. South Carolina's won the last 10 meetings, including last year, 47-6. But again, as we just talked about, this Vandy team is a different Vandy team. You got a different type of quarterback here. He could play with anybody. Still make the line 6.5. And as you can see, or you can't see, so let me make you see. Talk about it. Here's your, excuse me, let me focus in. South Cal Vandy. First box, that's Bet Online's opener. Opener was 4. And as we can see now, it's 5 and 5.5. So once again, my numbers say this line should be 6.5. The opener was 4. It's going in my direction. Unless there's injuries, guys, the games go in my direction. And when they don't, those are the games that we bet. UCF, Arizona State, next game. I've got this game as Arizona State, a 2.5-point favorite. Again, you're a Massa Edge member. I've got UCF rated 30.0 on the road. I've got ASU rated 32.5 at home. That's a 2.5-point difference. What's the line? The line's 2.5. I mean, this is it, guys. This is how good. You got to remember, my lines are done by Sunday, okay? If they're not posted Sunday, they're posted Monday, but they're done by Sunday. Oklahoma State, TCU. Oklahoma State's let us down the last few weeks, but here's another number that I'm just off of. And the only reason I haven't jumped on OK State, Gundy, the head coach, he's been a head coach for years at OK State. Going back and forth now with the fans. Has he lost the team? Is it a no-show? The second half last week was an absolute no-show with Arizona State. So what happened there, they had a 2-hour weather delay. And they basically didn't come out for the second half. We'll see if they come out this one. But there is no way in the world. There's just no way in the world I could make TCU a double-digit favorite over Oklahoma State. I've got this game circled. We'll wait to see what happens on this one. Maryland and Oregon. Oregon boasts the number 1 spot in the polls, and they deserve it. Oregon deserves it. They beat Ohio State, granted. It was at Oregon. Mike Gundy, a man. He's 40. You remember that? He's a man, right? Then that goes back how many years? Let me get back to this. So Oregon... but if my Massa Edge members, you'll see, I've got Ohio State still rated better than Oregon. Look, they beat Ohio State, but it was at Oregon, close game. Well, it was a 1-point victory. I've still got Ohio State rated better than him. But anyway, Oregon, 48.5 at home. Maryland, 25.5 on the road. It's a 23-point difference. Mary is coming off a bye, but again, I've got an East Coast team, Maryland, all the way to the Northwest, Oregon. Going to add an extra point, so I'm basically taking away the bye. The edge that Mary would get for the bye, I'm taking it away. What Oregon will be without their leading wide receiver, Tez Johnson. He's going to be out. Again, this number came down just a little bit, actually, this morning. It was a 24.5. We're looking at 24s now. Do I want to buck the number 1 team in the country that just looks like they want to put that last touchdown on those what they call style points? Not enough room for me. Mary going to go cross country. They are coming off their bye. I like that. I like that Oregon will be without their top wide receiver. Need more points for that one. Iowa State, Kansas. Oh, we did that one already. Mississippi State, Tennessee. Miss State, I mean, not a question, the weakest team in the SEC. They'll go to Tennessee. Tennessee this will be their 3rd straight home game and a bye they've had. So they beat Bama. They get a bye. They're home again against Kentucky. They win that one. Now they're home for another what should be a layup game. But Tennessee's got Georgia next. So, if there's a look-ahead spot on this entire card, this is it for Tennessee. They beat Bama. They beat Kentucky. They're going to play Miss State, weakest team in SEC. They get Georgia next. Do they fall asleep here? Does Miss State beat Massachusetts last week? Before that, they had lost 7 straight, but they're 4-1 against the spread their last 5. Guys, Miss State or nobody in this one. You're going to be down the whole game? Do you want to sit there getting your dick kicked in all day and then either catch that back door or just lose by 22 or 24? So that's what this type of game should be. Tennessee, much more talented. Just, I think, a bad spot for them. Home, comfortable, looking ahead to Georgia next week and get caught short by a team that we say they're the worst in the SEC, but the SEC is is the minor leagues as far as the NFL. It's the SEC by far the best conference. Miss State can play on the level with most teams in the country. Just outgunned in the SEC. Look for Miss State to hang around in that game. Florida State, Notre Dame the next game. Florida State, what this NIL did to this program, they were just getting themselves back on track. They were a projected top 10 team this year, and they've just been brutalized. And they're going to get brutalized going up to Notre Dame again this week. Notre Dame, 26.5 at Pinnacle now, 26 at Bet Online. It's a little high, but who the hell is going to take Florida State? My number on this, and I'll show you where it's at. I'm about 24 on the game. I've got Florida State rated 21.5 on the road. I've got Dame rated 44.7 at home. It's a 23.2 difference. Notre Dame also has the luxury of coming off a bye. They'll be ready for this game. Florida State beat up by North Carolina again. Just nothing to play for. So do I want a dead team like Florida State? Even though it's a couple of points extra, I don't want Florida State. Alabama, LSU, the other SEC powerhouse game of the week. Last year, Bama beats them 42-28 in Alabama. The year before, LSU wins 32-31 in overtime in LSU. Prior to that game, the Bama go into LSU and win 4 straight games at LSU prior to getting beat last year's game. Both teams obviously coming off a bye. They always have a bye before they get ready for this week's game. Bama 45.6 on the road. LSU 43.0 at home. Bama's a 4.6 difference. Okay, and as you guys can see, that game is either 2.5 or 3 dog money. So, excuse me, guys, 45.6, 43, 2.5 is my number, and that's just what the number is. So exactly what the number is, that's what I make the game. Oklahoma, Mizzou. Okay, so again, if you're a Mass Edge member, you see we would make Missouri the favorite in this game. I've got Mizzou rated 31.4 at home. Oklahoma rated 30.0 on the road. Also, Oklahoma coming off a bye. I'm waiting to see the quarterback, Cook, for Mizzou. If he's in, I like Mizzou in this one. Oklahoma beat Maine. Maine. How do you even schedule Maine? You're an SEC team and you schedule Maine. They crushed Maine last week. Before that, they dropped 3 straight games, 1-2 against the spread. Mizzou, they were destroyed without Cook in their last game by Bama, but at least it's Bama. Give me the home dog in this one if Cook and the running back Noel are in. They both missed the last game. Again, we're waiting for the injuries. Virginia and Pitt. So Pitt was playing great ball up until last week. Undefeated, and SMU ended that. They had won. They were 7-0, 6-1 against the spread, and now they've got Virginia coming in. Virginia's coming in off a bye. Pitt has won 6 of the last 7 meetings, 4-3 against the spread. The last time they met 2 years ago, not last year, they won at Virginia 37-7. I've got Virginia rated 24.0. Pitt on the road. Pitt rated 31.5 at home, 7.5 difference. But again, Virginia with the bye, So I'm not a full 7.5, but that's exactly what the line is. It opened 8. It's down to 7.5 now. And the last game, guys, Washington, Penn State. And this is the one that's got me thinking. Does Penn State show up after losing to Ohio State again? Ohio State just basically ends their season every year. And is that the case again? But Washington, they just can't win on the road. They've been great at home, but each time they travel to the old Big Ten schools, they get beat down. They've lost their last 2. They're, like I said, 0-3 as they've traveled east. So just don't like the spot. But again, does Penn State show up after losing once again to Ohio State? Guys, that's how the numbers are made. I've got a number on every game. If you're not making a number, you're not a handicapper. You're guessing. You're a bettor. You're a gambler. Okay? You can't beat an 11-10 sport by picking teams. There's one way to pick. There's one way to bet. You have to have an edge. You have an edge when you beat the number. We lost our Portland game last night. We took 5.5. The game closed 4. That was our edge. We've already beat the book. We've eliminated that 11-10 juice that we pay by think about if you had to buy 1.5 on a number. Okay? So that's the frame of mind sharp guys are gonna have. Not did you win, did you lose, did you this, did you that. Are you beating the number? Hey, some action right now. I want to show you guys how the lines move. And we talked about this Florida-Texas game, and this game is coming down. We said it was a 22.5, 23. So maybe we got some info on the Florida quarterback. If he plays Lagaway, that would be something we'd be interested in. So again, it's all about the info, guys. And there you see it. I'll show you where if I hit you last. You could see where the numbers were before they just hit this. So we'll keep our eyes on that one. You could see there's games are spotty moving, okay? BYU. So we didn't do BYU Utah. Let's do this at BYU Utah. People might look at this game and say, wow, only 3 BYU's this. Yeah. Look, first of all, they haven't played. They used to be in the same conference. Then Utah went to the Pac-12. Back in the same conference now. The last time they met was 2021. BYU was in 26-17. Prior to that, Utah owned them. 9 straight wins, 6-3 against the spread. Both teams coming off a bye week. I've got BYU as good as they're playing. 33.3 on the road. Utah 30.0 at home. 3.3 difference. And that's where we're at, guys. 3. Again, best line maker anywhere. Best line maker anywhere. Challenge anybody. Open challenge. I showed you my work. This is how it's done. Now we'll get some questions, guys. Sharp butter knife college basketball. I'm not even going to talk anything more about it. Don't know nothing about college basketball or bots. Ginger, hey, John, seeing Utah BYU game dropping. Do you like a side on this one? I just explained it. I'm at 3.3. 4.5 is the opening number. It's you think of the old domination, but again, they haven't played since 2021. BYU got everything in the world to play for. Just a solid game. Tim, early question. Gotta go meet the fire chief. How do you think about and adjust for weather, especially this time of year? It's snowing. Well, so let's say we've got Texas Tech, Morton. They're going to be passing the ball all day long. Rourke from Indiana. Okay. Ole Miss. Kid from Ole Miss. The passing teams. Bad weather, wind actually hurts more than rain. Bad wind's always going to hurt more. How's that going to affect them? That's going to affect them. They get a team without a good quarterback, Michigan. So we're going to make Michigan better in bad weather because they ain't got a good quarterback anyway. So it will affect different teams differently. What do you rely on? Do you rely on defense? Do you rely on a run game? Are you a passing team? So does your passing defense suck? Are you the Baltimore Ravens? Does your passing defense suck? Your passing defense sucks. Bad weather's going to help you out. So again, you adjust to every team. Russ, imagine going to Florida State now. Ha ha! My fucking ex-girlfriend, both her kids graduated from that piece of shit school. Multisante, a drug addict who got whacked. Massa and Paulie thriving. I don't even know what the fuck that means, my man. Ginger, that was like 16 years ago. He's talking about Mike Gundy, that the OK State coach. Sharp Butt, I've Don Best seems to have fallen off even by John's words. Don Best is horrible. I paid for it I guess, for the fucking year. I'm used to it. I use other outlets for info. So, I mean, I still have it, yes. Just going to give you another check, guys. We'll be keeping our eyes on that Florida game, as I said, Friday. Always keeping an eye out on the injuries. So look for those few quarterbacks that I talked about. What else we have here? Shopper Life John, have you heard of a guy named Phil Steele? Yeah, he's a fucking... another guy sells picks. Used to work for ESPN, but left and started his own company as college football statistic nerd and handicapper. Guys, I'm not trying to be fucking braggadocious. Phil Steele, anybody. I'm the best. I show it every day. My numbers are fucking right on point every game, every day. I prove it every day. I just gave the entire college football card. My NBA numbers, if I tell you the line's supposed to be one thing, if it's not, it moves that way. So, Signetti was winning games before NIL, though. Guy's a great coach, no question about it. And players want to come play for a great coach. But to turn Indiana on a dime, I mean, hats off to the guy. Fuck, look at that fucking hair. That's why I'm wearing a hat today. Aaron, Indy got a new coach also. They look real good. Steamrolled my Spartans. Well, we said that. Bucking the fuck out of the trend, Indiana for the house deed. A lot of points there. A lot of points to win, to beat Michigan. All right, guys. Any other questions? I gave you everything I got here. Half these betting services online are handicapped, but this is the real deal. Yeah, they are handicapped. They're not handicappers. They are literally handicapped. What else we got here? If G-Tech QB is ruled out, Hammer Miami. Guys, I don't like to use the word hammer. I don't go that big in college football. I have the best ratings in college football you're going to find anywhere. It's not my best sport. I'm looking at West Virginia right now, coming down a little bit. So we'll be on that one too. Does Green play? While I say that, I am better in college football than 99.9999% of the people. Okay? When I talk NBA, I am the best. Okay? When I talk NFL, maybe there's a handful of people better or as good as me. So college, not like that. But my ratings are the best. To give the four conferences, I give the amount of time that I give them to say I'm an absolute expert, I've got to give them even more time than my NBA and NFL would have to suffer. Proven One is watching the show. I prove myself every day, guys. That's what I try to do. What else we have here? I like Army. Okay, don't cover that, so I can't speak as a expert on it. Gentlemen, I'm going to wrap it up. We've been on for an hour. Appreciate it. This is our all-time high on X. Over 200 people. Absolutely love you guys. Remember, I'm here Monday and every weekday, 11 a.m. Eastern. Best sports betting information you're going to get. Guys, retweet me. Anybody that retweets everything that I did today, text B at 619-363-0395 tomorrow. If you retweet everything I did today, my trends of the day with the Celtics and what was the other one? And today's live, if you retweet everything, she's going to give you a free week. Text B at 619-363-0395. You retweet my live and everything else I posted today. She'll check on it. She'll check the name, and she'll give you guys a free week on my app. I want you guys to check it out. Guys, have a great week, and I'll see you on Monday. Let's make some money.